The golden fruit.
The second gold rush.
The starter of it all. Navel oranges are a seedless fruit with a partially formed, undeveloped fruit inside. Since navel oranges don't have seeds, there was no way to reproduce this fruit.
Navel oranges were discovered around 1870, when a Brazilian friend of Eliza Tibbets exchanged 2 navel orange trees for a letter.
Eliza Tibbets was an activist in Washington, D.C., but for an unknown reason moved to Riverside after receiving.
Eliza Tibbets' publicity was caused by successfully growing the first 2 hybrid navel orange trees in California.
The only problem with navel oranges is that they don't have seeds, and that's why they are favored by most.
It's also why it was hard to remake this tree. Eliza Tibbets found a way to reproduce this tree by taking off a branch and sticking it into a tree that was already growing.
When the navel orange tree started to grow, she would cut off the original tree, and the navel orange tree would start to grow normally. The first orange tree were grown in 1871, but the citrus industry in Riverside didn't begin until 2 years later, in 1873, when Eliza Tibbets received the trees.
During 1918, the survival of the navel orange tree was endangered by a fungus. This same fungus came back in 1922 and killed one of the navel orange trees. During the 1900s, the impact of this single tree had on the city of Riverside and on the surrounding area was profound.
Eliza Tibbets might have been a huge impact on the navel orange tree publicity, but she isn't the only reason. Brazil sent a dozen of these trees to the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C. in 1870. The navel oranges was renamed a number of times.
This mutant fruit went from Bahia navel to Riverside navel to Washington navel and finally to navel orange. Were navel oranges traded?
By the time we had navel oranges here, they were being sold, right? Just for the people who came here during the gold rush, they wanted to take fruit and go into the mountains and look for gold. So it was actually being sold in all the little groceries markets that were selling supplies that people needed in order to go and look for gold. And then as towns cropped up, they had little grocery stores and it was sold there. So it wasn't traded per se, and by that I mean it used to be bartered. It used to be part of the barter system way back when, like 5,000 years ago. It was originally bartered. All the citrus was traded for. So eventually it was in the supermarkets.